no slouching. Mama, get on, Juice. I told you twice you was texting. Come on, bro. I'm not playing.
The party is later. Y'all gonna get to the party, I promise.
Yeah. You come back with late.
We almost in the
Okay.
day.
All right, cool. So undivided attention. I need y'all to respect my sister. She's gonna come and introduce our keynote. Okay? And huh? No. I got you. So let's respect the floor, respect the mic. Y'all good?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Testing.
Hi guys, good afternoon.
Hello.
Okay, cool. So I didn't really plan to do this, but I'm gonna do it because I'm going to make a connection. So I was watching Hulu. I know y'all be on Hulu. Y'all be on Hulu? Yeah. Okay, period. So I was watching Amy's Kids Behind Bars, and one of the stories really resonated with me because it was located here in Denver, Colorado. And so I went and looked the gentleman up, Curtis Brooks. And Casey had already put together the vision for this year's Voice Men workshop about addressing violence, and it was just very much on heart. So I thought that it was a story that you guys would really enjoy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So like Casey said, sit up straight, give me your undivided attention, show them some respect. And yes, thanks so much for being here, Curtis Brooks.
What's going on, everybody?
How you doing?
I want to say sincerely, it's an honor for me to be here to speak with you guys. I'm thankful for you guys to have me. I'm thankful for your foundation to bring me in. I flew in from New York yesterday to be here. It was rough because I had a 5-hour layover in Chicago. So I'm a little tired. But I'll do my best. One thing I'm not a preacher. I'm not here to give a sermon. I'm here to talk to you, not at you. So if I say anything and you have a question, you want to respond to it, feel free. This is a conversation. So I want to start by answering one of the questions that I saw earlier, and that is, what can contribute to youth violence? One of the answers that I didn't hear is weakness, and I'm a picture of that. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about myself. I'm originally from Maryland. I grew up in Maryland and D.C. I am the son of a crack addict mother. My mother came to Colorado to go to the Stout Street Foundation. I don't know if any of you heard that. When she graduated, I was brought out here to live with her at the age of 14. By 15, I was homeless. In April of 1995, I was living right around the corner at the Aurora Mall, homeless, and ran into some guys, one of them that I had met before, the other two I'd never seen before in my life. I told them my story, and they offered me a place to stay with them. But the catch was, I had to go get a car with them. The words that they used was, don't trip on how we get it. I wasn't stupid, just like I know none of you are. I knew what that meant. But I wasn't an angel as a teenager. I had done this stolen the car before and enjoyed riding with my friends. In the process of stealing this car, one of the other kids decided to pull out a gun and shoot and kill the guy. So at 15, I was arrested on the charge of felony murder. I was tried and convicted and sentenced to life without parole. Now I want to ask a question. How many of you know the felony murder law? The felony murder law, do you know what it is?
Felony murder law.
So, it's a very big law that they promote here in Colorado, and it's meant to be a deterrent. The reason it's a joke is most people don't even know what it is. The law states that if you are in the commission of a felony, does not matter who, does not matter how, if someone dies, if you could be a mile away from still a commission of that crime, you are a murderer. And it used to be the only sentence was life without parole. So I was officially convicted. I was in county jail from 15 to 17. I was officially convicted at 17 and sent to prison. That was an interesting time. At 17, I was 6'1", about 145 pounds. And I went in with guys who looked like they had been eating weight pop. I'll be honest with you guys, I walked in there scared. Because what is a 145-year-old scrawny kid going to do against these men? Not a whole lot. Something else that I can tell you guys about me is that I wasn't the street kid. I was actually a nerd. The one thing that I was always ever good at was video games. And that's where you would find me. You'd find me in an arcade. I wasn't running the street carjacking. I had never had a gun in my hand before that night. And I say that to you guys so that you understand. My predicament was that once I was put in the streets, what I tell people is I was not a street kid. I was a kid that got put in the streets. I had to try to find a way to survive. I was living my life trying to fit in. I was trying to be what I thought other people wanted me to be. So I sacrificed my beliefs. I sacrificed my feelings on situations. That night, the reason it was weakness is I didn't stand by what I believed. I was worried. What would the streets think about me if I walked away from this? What would the streets do if I did the right thing? Now, I told you guys, when the other kids decided to pull out a gun and shoot the kid to kill this guy. But here's the reality. At 15, I had the ability to do the right thing. If I had, there's an innocent man that might not have been killed that night. And because I didn't do the right thing, he's dead. And it's no less than I had killed him myself. You guys have so much power within yourselves that you sacrifice if you become the kid that only wants to impress others. If you become the kid that sacrifices your beliefs for someone else. You surrender all of that to this person who's really not even worth it. The question I would ask you guys is, what is the most dangerous person in the world?
A person has nothing left to lose.
My belief is the most dangerous person in the world is the person that doesn't care. If he doesn't care about himself, he has zero ability to care about you. He's not going to care if you wind up dead. He's not going to care if you wind up catching a case for him, with him, or because of it. And when you go to prison, he's not going to care. Eric Leitner, somebody I was in prison with, he stood up here and he told you guys, imagine everything that you love about life. And it's true, none of that is in prison. I grew up in D.C. when D.C. was a different environment than what it is now. I grew up in an environment where it was seen as cool to have gone to prison. You got stripes because you had been to the joint. I'm gonna be real with y'all. There ain't shit cool about being in prison.
That's right.
At all. I went in and I did 24 years. I was released 3 years ago. July 1st, 2019, I got released from prison after receiving clemency from Governor Hickman. I went in prison at 15. I came out at 39. Eric Leitner told you guys what he gave up. I gave up my entire teens. Everything you guys are learning in life right now, I learned at 40. How to pay bills, how to drive a car, how to get a job and actually hold one, how to make something of yourself. Taxes. Honestly, I still don't know how to pay taxes. People out there, they know how to do it, so I let them do it. But I sacrificed. It's not even sacrifice. Right around that corner, I gave away my life. I gave away all those years. I used to be in this victimized mentality that you see so many. Court screwed me. Family screwed me. I had a crack family. Everybody did me wrong. The person that did me the most wrong, standing in front of you guys. When I was able to accept that and to look at myself and say no one else was responsible for that 24 years but me, it changed me. They sent me to prison for a life sentence. It was probably 8 years in. I was no longer serving that sentence. Because I sentenced myself. And I still serve that sentence today. I got a chance to come back and live my life. And do things like this to try to help. There's a young man that doesn't. Nothing I do or anybody does can change that. And so I live my life today to make sure that that doesn't become more of a waste than it already is. So where I am today is kind of what you guys were. I'm the hopeful content creator. I'm a streamer. I play games like Apex, Overwatch. Don't make that face. I will target you if you make that face. Yeah, you. I also play Street Fighter, Dragon Ball. What I call myself now is I am the oldest esports free agent. The reason I say that is there's no teams out there recruiting 42-year-olds. None. In this sport, in this place, everybody says it's a young man's domain. And I can't compete. I know a lot of you right now are sitting there thinking, whatever game I name that you play, you can't keep up. The honest answer is you're probably true. For now. My man right here talked about Kobe Bryant is the GOAT in basketball. Here is why I will support his argument. Kobe, I'm not agreeing with him. I'm supporting his argument. Kobe Bryant once said in describing why he went to practice so much, it's because we're playing the same game. But if I outwork you, you will never keep up.
That's right.
And that is my attitude. That's what I live with. I practice my game. You may be younger than me, you got faster reflexes. While I was sitting in prison staring at walls and watching TV, you were playing PUBG, Counter-Strike, and Halo, and honing your skills, which transition to these newer games. I don't have that. I'm starting from years behind you guys. But if I outwork you, you won't keep up. And that's life. In the workshop I just sat in, he made the reference that knowledge is power. Knowledge is more than that. With knowledge, you dictate how people treat you. I'll be real with you. Look around this room. Got a lot of certain complected individuals with braids and dreads. And when you walk in a room, I saw that. When you walk in a room, people are going to think a certain way about you. That's just life. And they are going to try to think that they can treat you in a particular way. They're going to assume that you're dumb, that you don't know anything. They can slide some stuff in on you. You won't realize it. Educated person, as soon as they start to do that, you can tell them, nah, you're not going to do that. You're going to do this in a different way. And I'm telling you, when you deal with people and you shut that down, not only do they go from trying to get over from you, now they operate in a position of respect with you. Because they know that you're not the common individual that they can just get over on. Educate yourselves. I know school was boring. I stopped going. I don't know if any of you guys went to go to East High School. That's where I went. I stopped going after the 9th grade. I officially have a 9th grade education. One paper. While in prison, I decided to educate myself. Started teaching myself things like calculus. Started studying languages. Started studying physics. Why? I don't know. I was bored and a lot of time. Now I come home and I deal with people. People deal with me with respect. I walk in the room and I'm the convict. I'm the felon. I'm the person that's probably a piece of shit because all I did in prison was hone my criminal skills until they talk to me. As soon as they talk to me, that's not what I am anymore. Because I shut down their beliefs. I shut down the fabricated stories that they tell themselves to try to elevate themselves above me because I made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. The Bible will tell you there is only one perfect person that has walked this earth. That is a lie. There are a lot of perfect people out there that are waiting for you to make a mistake so that they can point it out to everybody else and keep the attention on you and not the BS that they're doing. And that's real talk. I don't ever go to anybody, no matter how old, whether they're your age or younger, and tell them don't make mistakes. What I say, educate yourself. Make smart mistakes. Everybody learns from experience. We did. And we can share our experiences with you, but it's not the same. Have you ever eaten shark? You're a liar. Is there anything that I could ever tell you to make you understand what it tastes like? Exactly. That explains it for yourself. It does not taste like chicken. But that's where I am now. I am a person that promotes myself as a motivational speaker, and that's what I use on my YouTube channel. I'm a gamer, so use that with my YouTube channel. I'm a flawed individual. I've made my mistakes. I still do. I started streaming, and the first thing I did was look at Ninja. And what does he do? Because he's successful. And I'm going to copy that. I got tired. Acting requires effort. Anything that requires effort makes you tired. So I stopped. I do me. If you don't like it, don't come. Period. That's my attitude. Now, how many of you guys play any of the games that I mentioned? Have any of you ever seen the name Unleashed _ KOG?
Thank you.
That's me. That's all right. You know what I did? I loaded back into the lobby 101 times. Doesn't matter. But does anybody have any questions on anything that I said?
You give us your YouTube handle?
My YouTube channel is just my name, Curtis A. Brooks. Probably got to search for it a little bit because only got 29 subscribers right now. But I've only had it going for like 4 days.
He's gonna go back to this. Are you completely free, or are you on the same thing that the other guys on?
No, I'm actually on parole. I was released to parole. I have served 3 years on parole of 5 years. So I officially discharged parole on July 1st, 2024. Because I'm out of state, I feel like I'm getting different treatment. Because people who get a similar sentence for 18 months can be discharged from parole. I'm being told I have to do the full 5 years, which I've got more than half of that done, so I always told people I'd rather be watching on the streets than watching in prison. If that's the case, I don't care. And New York parole sucks. It's terrible. Anybody else? You guys?
I have a question. How do you feel, or what type of emotions do you have, or is it traumatizing, however you want to phrase it, like when you drive by the credit union, or if you have been by there?
I haven't yet, but I plan to today. So I didn't know the location of the building until we put it in Google Maps.
Oh, wow.
And it was pointed out to me that it was right around the corner from the Aurora Mall. That started some emotion, honestly. Because this is the closest I have ever been to that spot since the night that it happened. And trust me when I tell you guys, like, I take everything to heart. Everything that happened that night, I regret the circumstances, but that was something that changed me and helped me find everything that I was hiding in myself. I hope for every single person, your age, old, whatever it is, that it doesn't take something like that to sit you down and say, let me just find me. Because the one thing that I will always say on top of that is always be you. They don't like you. This planet is full of like 300 billion people. On to the next one. Like, I present me. If you don't like me, don't talk to me. You can't please everybody. And if somebody said early on that you get what you put out. I told you guys when I went to prison that I was in the victimized mentality. I was a very negative person. I was angry. And what I found were other angry people, other negative people. We vibrate on the same wavelength. But then I started to grow up. I started to mature. And I started to educate myself. And those same people didn't want to hang around me anymore. I wasn't feeding what they wanted, which is just more negativity. This stuff is a cycle. When you decide to put out positivity, you will find it. Or it will find you. Either way, positivity repels negativity. How many times do we sit up here and hear people talk about with youth, bad apple, that leads kids, leads their friends or whatever down the bad path? They got caught up in this situation. Think about it in reverse. Facilitators are here and spreading this, attracting more people in. Imagine that positive impact of being the person on the other side, that instead of leading people down a bad path, are drawing them away from it, and helping our community, healing our community, and stopping the cycle of nonsense that's going on out there right now. That's powerful. That's what I love when I see it here. This is my first day of full association with the Crowley Foundation. And I think that what you guys are doing is great. This is what needs to happen more in more cities, in more communities, with more families. And I think it would make a big change. Yes.
What did you have to do within yourself? You said that once you found that it was you that made that mistake, that you couldn't blame it on anybody else. What did you have to do within yourself?
Stop making excuses. That's something I tell people all the time. You can, think about how many times you'll see a person that lines up in a situation, maybe you point out something to somebody, or somebody points it out to you, and it's like, you know, yeah, I recognize that, but I was brought up in a household like that. What? That's an excuse. You're excusing your action because of this circumstance. It would be easy for me to sit up here and say, I wanted in that situation because my mother was addicted to crack. That's not an excuse. She didn't have nothing to do with me making my decisions. And it wasn't easy for me to look at myself in the mirror and say, you need to make a change. But I recognized that I wasn't happy with me. And No, and people have asked me that. The way I look at it, to my knowledge, everybody is out now. The shooter was the last person that was in prison, and I was contacted about a year ago to let me know that he had gotten to a halfway house or whatever. That's an aspect of my past. That's the kid that I used to be. Those guys, to put it bluntly, don't fit into the man that I am now. I don't know how they developed, but the only thing we have to bond about is what we went through. And that's not a bonding experience for me. It is trauma, but that's a cause. That happened, which caused me to have to evolve myself and make myself better. I don't need to go back to the things that brought about that cause. Like I guess, an example is family. I told you that I have a bad family. My family's toxic. Being released from prison in Colorado, I wanted to go home. They said, you have to go to family. I don't want to. I don't want to put myself back in an element of toxicity that I had escaped from moving to Colorado. And when I went home, they put me with family. It became exactly what I told you.
Was it hard coming out because you like had so much of your life in prison? Was it hard coming out to the real world? Or like as an adult, all of a sudden you think for yourself?
Yes, but I was lucky. I had a lot of support. Two people. Let's be real. The reason that I had gotten out of prison was I had two sitting senators that fought for me. Before they showed up, nobody cared. Nobody was taking my case in front of the governor and saying, hey, let's make a change. Even though I was seeing other cases where guys had killed their parents, killed someone in a drug deal that went wrong, and they're being put in the news. Why would you put someone that didn't actually kill someone? So when I came home, I had a very strong support system. So I was able to never go without a job. If I needed a job, I could go get one and I would get a good one and pay well. So the difficulty was the world changes. Society had changed a lot. And I had to adapt to that. I had to be able to not be that old dinosaur that's like, back in my day, we did it this way. It's not my day anymore. You guys do it different. I feel like you guys have it harder than I had because of the access like social media and things like that. I didn't have to deal with all of that.
That's like a two-part question. Would you consider yourself emotionally secure after the situation?
Yes.
What steps did you take to get what steps did you take to become emotionally secure?
So, when bad things happen to you, we, especially as men, we're trained to put on the face that it doesn't affect us. That we're good. I'm over it. It's something that won't. But everything creates a scar. Or it creates a wound, and as it heals, it becomes a scar. What I did was I purposely went and peeled all of my scabs. Something that I can tell you guys, and this is honest truth. I got on the plane yesterday morning at 5 a.m. in New York. I landed in Chicago. I got a text from my brother that my grandmother had died. I buried my grandmother a long time ago. Eric Blacker talked about not getting letters. I served 24 years by myself. I wasn't getting letters. I wasn't getting support. In 24 years, I got absolutely 0 visits from my family. Not a one, and that's not a lie. I came to a point where I had to sit down and say, I put out the love. I give the effort. But I don't get it in return. I saw a Instagram post, I think it was yesterday or the day before. The guy was talking about, I stopped calling people on my friends list just to see when I stopped, how many would pick up the phone and call me. The moral of that was, when you do that, you teach yourself how many worthless seeds you've been watering. That's what I had to come to the realization. When my grandmother got sick and decided she wasn't going to do chemo, I knew she was going to die. I had already seen her headstone years ago. I accepted that. that case, I am.
Any more questions? Y'all give it up.
Brother, stay here, stay here, stay here, stay here. On behalf of the Crowley Foundation, we just want to give you this certificate of appreciation and just a small token of our love and affection for you coming and sharing your story and being a part of the 2022 Boys to Men workshop. God bless you, bro.
As I was instructed, I will be in the lobby handing out my business cards to anybody.
Yeah, we'll get one in front of the thing too. Oh, okay, that's what we're gonna go. So we need to do a couple things. I know we running over, just bear this. The first thing we need to do is take this quick survey. All right, so I need y'all to pull y'all's phones out. Pull y'all's phones out. And then after we do the survey, we're gonna recognize everybody and we're gonna get out of here.